And we're back with Americans for Prosperity tonight with a different kind of event.
Yeah.
Christmas party.
It's a blast. We love this as a chance to celebrate a lot of the successes over the course of the year, a chance to sort of thank our activists for all the hard work that they've put up in the last calendar year, and frankly, just a chance to have a little bit of fun. Politics is rough, and it's important, particularly now as we're going through things like the New Hampshire primary, and people are usually friends are kind of fighting with one another.
Yeah.
It's important to just take a little bit of time to reflect and remember that we're all in this for the right reasons, and we're trying to do the right thing.
An important part of libertarianism, conservatism is family and community and everything like that, and it's important to enjoy that, especially through the Christmas season, holiday season.
Absolutely, and we definitely have seen this through the year that our events keep growing every year, and a lot of the activists, we see some of these activists who just have come in and made thousands and thousands of phone calls, knocked hundreds of doors, and it's just a small token that we can make to say thank you for all of your hard work. Even though the reward for them isn't a Christmas party, the real reward for them is good policy that's taking place, and we've had a fair amount of it this year, and we have a couple of great award winners who I think are really exceptional in what they've delivered. Now, we can't mention right at this time who our freedom fighter is because it's a surprise. But this year we're giving our 2023 Tom Thomson Defender of Liberty Award to Speaker Sherman Packard, who obviously had to lead the House through a very narrowly divided House, obviously very contentious, a lot of contentious bills that are being fought on the floor of the House. And he did just an outstanding job of getting through that and still being principled and being able to hold himself in a manner that really think is improves the reputation of the House and makes people understand what true public servants our legislators are. Our legislators take a lot, but they get paid $100 a year, which means they're really volunteers, and that's their form of community service.
Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, the big thing I would definitely want to speak to him about is political philosophy versus getting the job done. Like we talk about in D.C., all the ridiculous polarization nonsense happens down there. Well, we're pretty darn close, like you just said, in our state house, but we still managed to get a lot done. There's a balance. I feel like people in New Hampshire are able to strike that's harder on the national stage, it seems like.
Absolutely. In New Hampshire, we do get things done. It's not about trying to get on Fox News or MSNBC every night and scoring some political points. It's about trying to focus on delivering good policy for people. And I think when this isn't your job, meaning this is just a volunteer work, I think you come with a little more humility and a little more responsibility for making sure that you're doing a good job. And this year has been exceptional. We've passed a budget that's getting rid of New Hampshire's only income tax, the interest and dividends tax. We expanded education opportunities so more families are eligible for the widely successful education freedom accounts. We've done some other things such as we've really worked with the court system to give them more bandwidth to deal with land use cases, so that some of these things that are being bottled up by some of these cities and towns can move forward quickly and provide some housing as well as commercial development for the state, which is critical for both the people who are living here as well as our economy.
So this last time I'm going to speak to you before the new year starts, and guess what? January 1st hits, they're going to be busy over at the State House. So I got to ask, what are some of the things that are maybe unique that maybe we haven't seen in the last few years that will be coming up in this next legislative cycle that people should kind of check out and maybe learn up on more?
Well, I think some of the things that we're looking at are things like protecting the privacy of your data. I think that's something that I know that a number of members of the legislature are looking at. A lot of people are looking at try to find ways to try to creatively deal with the housing situation in New Hampshire. Polling indicates that's the number one issue. A lot of families, a lot of people who are renting can't afford to buy a home. A lot of people who are young are trying to decide if they can make a living here long term, or whether or not they're going to have to potentially look at someplace else because they can't afford to buy a house or even afford to pay the rent these days. And so I know that's a top priority for the legislature, and I know that the leadership in the House and the Senate, as well as Governor Sununu, are committed to trying to get good, solid proposals across the line to help alleviate that issue.
All right. Well, we'll be definitely keeping an eye out for all that and everything else. And Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy 2024 to all of your viewers. And I just want to say a heartfelt thanks from AFP to everybody, including you, for all the hard work you do in advancing liberty in New Hampshire.
Really excited right now to be joined by Tom Thomson. Excited to learn more about this award that is named after you. Like, how is it put together, and what do you look for with people that you give it to?
Well, we've always looked for people. First of all, the award was given to me, the first award, and I was surprised that it was named after me, because I told Greg, and I think I told the whole audience, that usually it's after someone passes that the award is named after the individual. I said, do you know something I don't? But anyways, so it's for a person in the state of New Hampshire, particularly in the House or the Senate, could be any government official, that has gone out of their way to do a great job of defending liberty in the state of New Hampshire. For example, keeping New Hampshire the freest state in the United States, which it is today. Keeping New Hampshire without a sales or income tax. Protecting the New Hampshire advantage. And all of those things, and prosperity, for everyone in the state of New Hampshire that wants to roll up their sleeves and go to work and do a good job. I've started with when New Hampshire Americans for Prosperity first started, and I've been blessed they keep asking me to come back, so I enjoy doing it. And there is some politics behind my name, not me, but my father, and I saw my father work as a governor of New Hampshire. He was a businessman. He brought business sense to the state of New Hampshire, and he was the one that came up with the pledge for no sales or income tax. Every other governor that's been elected has taken the pledge. There was only one time that Senator Shaheen refused to take it because she was looking for a sales tax. And the House voted on that in the morning. And that was the day my father passed away in the afternoon. And I think he did that. He held on because he wanted to see that defeated.
Sure. What do you have to say about House Speaker Sherman Packard and why you think he's someone that should receive this award?
I've watched Sherman over the recent years anyways, and Sherman Packard was not looking to be Speaker of the House. COVID happened, Dick Hinch was elected as Speaker, and shortly thereafter, unfortunately, he passed away. But Sherm stepped up to the plate, and what he did during that COVID time was remarkable, in my opinion, because no other, in the history that I know of, no one else had gone through that sort of a pandemic. They couldn't hold it at the House. They had to hold it over at the University of New Hampshire and other parts of the state. And to herd all those cats together and keep legislation going and moving forward. And some of the things that he did in the legislature with a very, very narrow majority is remarkable. And the AFP works, we work together as far as who I would like to consider, and when we sit down and we talk about that, and there was no discussion about anyone else. It was Sherman Packard this year, and I'm proud to present that to him in a few minutes.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
New Hampshire House Speaker Sherman Packard. It's obviously been a crazy year of politics and lawmaking and making things work with such a tight, very tight majority. We barely were able to keep just the votes and the people in the seats. I mean, what were some big takeaways from just that battle this past year?
Well, the biggest battle was where at a time we had 2-vote margin. Now we're at 3-vote margin. We got 4 special elections coming up. So it was getting people there, but keeping people there. A lot of times around 4:30, 5 o'clock, if we still got a couple hours to go, people were leaving. And that would give the Democrats, if they didn't have as many people leaving, the majority. And the minute that majority switched, we had a couple of days where from that point on they were winning. Just because we had more people leave than they did.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's obviously was one of our biggest challenges last year, and it's going to be one of the biggest challenges this year, is to keep people in their seats.
So a big deal. I mean, speaking with Americans for Prosperity is just sponsoring this episode of the show. I mean, having your ideals of conservatism and what you think is best for New Hampshire, how do you strike that balance of having people come together, get the job done, have proper laws go through that are best for our state versus the way you may feel personally with your own politics?
Well, I think the biggest thing, the biggest challenge we had was obviously the budget.
Yeah.
And I sat down with the Democratic leader, and I said, look, neither one of us have the vote to pass the budget. Mm-hmm. So let's, get realistic. And I said, there's certain things that I'm going to demand and have to have, certain things that he said he had to have. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, that's a little piece on each side. Now let's work on the rest of it. Mm-hmm. And we worked on the rest of it, and pretty much in a bipartisan manner on the Finance Committee. And we put together a budget, and we got it passed. We passed it by a voice vote out of the House to the Senate, which is unheard of. Mm-hmm. And then we worked with the Senate. So when it came back over from the Senate, we were able to concur with the Senate budget because we had worked on it for so much, and we passed it by, I think it was 325 to 55. So, but there was a lot of partisan stuff. My biggest disappointment was we lost the parental bill of rights. Yeah. And that was my own personal bill, and that was my biggest disappointment. And it just happened to be that they had more people there that day than we did. And so if I had another 10 people, or I think if we even had 5 people, we would have passed it. Mm-hmm. So be that be it may, there was a lot of stuff that got passed. We were able to increase the education freedom accounts from 300 to 350. So we got some good stuff done. Not quite as much as we'd like, but considering the numbers we had, in that were bigger than twice as big as any other legislature in the country, other than the United States Congress. I think we came out of it winning more than we lost.
Mm-hmm. What's your advice to people that are, especially younger people, that are interested in getting into politics, maybe up and coming at the State House now even? What's your advice to them to have productive conversations, to be able to get laws done that's best for their constituents?
Well, I mean, both sides have certain things that, they're adamant about. Mm-hmm. If you get a freshman in there, a younger person in there, they've got to learn, first of all, they got to learn the system. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you don't know how to not work the system, but you don't know how the system works, you're going to have a hard time. And then, you just got to make friends, I mean, with, people on the other side of the aisle. Mm-hmm. Just because you disagree with them philosophically, it doesn't mean you have to hate them or be disagreeable. So that's one thing that we try and make people understand, that with the numbers almost identical, mm-hmm. if you're going to get anything done, you're probably going to need votes, whether it's from their side or from our side. You're going to need votes on the other side of the ticket.
What's one subject going into this next legislative cycle that you think people really should get informed on before it starts hitting all the news cycles and everything like that?
There's a number of issues that, bills were filed. We've got quite a few bills on the retirement system, trying to fix that thing once and for all. There's 815 House bills, which is an exceptionally high number.
Yes.
And so, there's a lot of stuff in there that will probably be killed unanimously, and there's stuff in there that will probably be passed unanimously. But, with the budget done the first year, the second year, you get a lot of stuff that didn't come in the first year. I don't want to start picking people apart. I mean, we've got some bills to increase the education freedom accounts even more than they are. There's there's a number of things. The Education Committee alone has got 108 bills,
Oh, wow.
which is exceptional. The ED&A Committee has, I think, close to 70 bills. A lot to do with licensing and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. We got probably about 200 bills more than normal for a second year of the session.
Oh, wow.
And the Senate's got 315 bills, which is exceptionally high for the Senate, too. It's going to be a long 5 months.
It will be fun for me. Sorry, I'm in media. But Merry Christmas.
It'll be a long 5 months.
Merry Christmas. Congratulations on the award, and excited to watch tonight's event.